Hello and welcome to 52 Weeks of Financial Success. Here we are at week number 11. And our topic this week is real estate. How real estate fits into your financial plan. Probably next to retirement planning, real estate is probably the most popular topic that people want to talk about. So when I think about real estate, I want to approach it from two aspects. First of all, your primary residence. Then I want to look at real estate as it relates to rental or investment property. Let's talk about first your primary residence. If there are some tools that you need as it relates to real estate in your financial plan, I would say this. I talk about it in my book, and if you've downloaded the free chapter, you've heard me mention this. Ideally, I would prefer that before you purchase a home, that you would have a budget, you would have emergency savings, and you have eliminated debt. Now, why do I say do that first before we start looking at really purchasing the real estate? For this reason. Budgeting is going to always be a part of your financial plan. And so it's imperative that you know what you can afford prior to going out, signing a contract, putting down earnest money, getting emotionally attached to a home that you may not be able to afford. Through the budget, you're able to find out what can I pay realistically. Because if you have been living at home, if you have had a roommate, or if you had an apartment, budget-wise, you may have been in a different place. Because until you have a home of your own, you will not have all of the financial responsibility that you're going to have when you assume home ownership. So that's why in your budget it's imperative that you are following a system, but also that you have emergency savings, because with home ownership there's always going to come some type of problem. You're going to always have something that will need to be done in the home, even if it's a brand new home built from the ground up. There's going to be something that you're going to have to cover. That's why you need emergency savings. But ideally, I would hope you had debt eliminated, because if you were in a position where you could not qualify for one home because of possibly your debt to income ratio, if your debt has been eliminated, that has created extra money per month that you could put towards a mortgage if you had one. But that's why I also say, and I said it in my book, somebody listening to me, you're going to be able to do it. I would ideally prefer that you had a budget, fully funded emergency savings, no debt, and watch this, you pay for your home in cash. Yeah, I would hope you could do that. And I would ideally hope you would do it before you had this responsibility on your shoulders, that you would have the money saved, that you plan, you have prepared. So you're not going to be like so many people who have homes that they wish they had no debt. They wish they could have it paid off. But you could if you had a plan. And so I'm talking to that person, you don't have a home yet. And if you're just saying, I want to be able to have a home, what should I do? Well, you need to have a budget. Number two, you need to have a fully funded emergency savings. Number three, you need to have your debt eliminated. We've talked about all three of those areas in previous videos. So if this is your first week following us, go back to some of those other videos and get the tools and the steps that you need, because I want you to do it in the right way, because many of us were taught how to do it out of order. Okay, let me give you some other tips. If you want to be able to purchase this home but you can't pay cash for it, let me say at least put down a substantial down payment of at least 30%. Okay, of at least 30%. And then finance over 15 years instead of 30. Finance for 15 instead of 30. Because ideally what I want you to do is to get the home paid off as soon as you can. By putting down a substantial down payment, that reduces your notes. By putting it on 15 years, that reduces the number of years that you're paying, where typically you would do a 30-year. Well, if we can reduce it down to 15, and watch this, you pay 13 payments every year instead of 12. You have your typical monthly mortgage amount, but you pay one additional note, but for principal only, a 15-year mortgage gets cut down to a 9.5-year mortgage. So we want to have budget in place, want to have emergency saving, We want to be debt-free. Ideally, I want you to pay for this home in cash, but if you cannot, if you have to purchase 30% down, 15-year mortgage, pay an extra note every year for principal only, needs to say that on the check, and then that's where real estate can fit in. So we've talked about the personal residence, but let's look at investment property. Because a lot of people say, I don't really like the stock market. I don't like the ups and downs. What I do like is real estate. And so real estate investing has always been a way to create residual income, a way to build your wealth, a way to have money working for you and you're not physically having to go out and earn that money. Well, when it comes to investment properties and real estate investing, I still say we've been taught wrong. Because in this low interest rate market that we're in right now, yes, it's attractive to go and maybe find a foreclosure, maybe find a property that you could get for a lot less than what it may be appraised for. But what you're finding, what I see too many times, is that we're still going into debt in order to get that property. No, let's change that mindset. Before you even consider investment property, this is what I want you to do. I want your home to be paid off. Okay? And then second, I want you to pay cash for that investment property. Okay, let me give you my ideology behind this. Why? Why do it that way? Well, number one, when I don't have a mortgage on my home, I don't have the stress of trying to maintain another property. Because with another property comes a tenant. With the tenant comes the responsibility is that you have to make sure that they can pay every month. But if I have two mortgages that I'm trying to manage, my personal and this investment property, that's going to put a lot of additional stress on you. And then what if your tenant has to leave? What if you have to remove them because of failure to pay or damage they've done to the property or whatever reason? Now you're having two notes that you're trying to manage. So let's say, number one, have your home paid off first. Then number two, pay cash for this rental property. Because then when I pay cash for the rental property, the rent that I am receiving is true profit. Yes, I'm going to have taxes on my property. Yes, I'm going to have homeowner's insurance, but you could build that into the rent where that's covered by your tenant and it's not necessarily coming out of your pocket. I know this is different than what we've been taught, but I want us to do it in the right way because I meet with a lot of people and they have a lot of investment properties, but they're putting more money into the property than they're making. Or in some cases, they're just breaking even. And that's if they have a tenant. But when they do not have a tenant, that's money that's coming out of their pocket every month. Now, how is it an asset if I'm having to take money out of my budget in order to put this aside every month? No, an asset should be paying me. That's not an asset, that's a liability. And so if we're talking about creating wealth, accumulating wealth, preserving wealth, let's do it in the right way. Hopefully, as you are planning for real estate, some of you who already have a home, and you're saying, well, Winfrey, I didn't do it right. I didn't do it in order. That's fine. But before you go out and make another purchase, before you start getting happy of saying, this is the time we can start doing real estate investing because there are a lot of deals out there. Yes, that's fine, but do it in order. We need to have a working budget. We need to have a fully funded emergency savings account. We need to have our debt eliminated. Then we work on getting our home paid off as soon as possible. And then if you want to do real estate investing, pay for it in cash. Well, hopefully this has been good for you. If you have not been to our website, go there. Download your free chapter of our new book, 7 Secrets to Financial Success. I promise you, it will be a blessing to you. Thank you for everyone's response on how just the chapter alone has been beneficial for you. In just a few weeks, the actual book will be out. So if you have not pre-ordered your copy, call our office right now. Call us today. Send us an email. Let us know that you want to reserve your copy of 7 Secrets to Financial Success. Well, thank you for tuning in again. Come back next week as we go to week number 12 when we talk about the importance of estate planning. Until then, we'll see you.